What it do, house crew? We are back with the predictions video. First pay per view we've had in a while, honestly. It's March now, and as you can definitely tell, I am pretty sick. But I've been sick the past week. I was trying to make a reaction video to UFC Mexico, but I was just really fucking I was just feeling like shit the whole entire week, and I'm just like, man, when is it gonna fucking end? But we're back. I feel better now. I can at least speak and make a predictions video. It's gonna be hard for me. I'm gonna be coughing a lot, so hopefully you guys don't mind that. Anyways, my bad. Anyways, Holloway versus Oliveira 2. This is a fight everybody has been looking forward to for a while now. We wanted to see these guys rematch, and this is in such a weird time too, because with the lightweight division in the state it is, this fight could potentially mean important stakes. And last time we fought, man, they're pretty much like tadpoles. These are guys who were still bottom ranked guys, but now they become champions. They become legends of the sport, broke records, and they're at the end of their careers. Let's just be honest here. They're pretty much 1-2 years away from retiring, and I think this rematch made sense. I think this is the best fight they could put on in the lightweight division right now. And this is honestly the most interesting fight and the most hype fight they could put on in the lightweight division. I don't think anybody really gives a shit about Arman fighting. And Ilya versus Gaethje is already a done deal. But this fight over here, it's a good fight, man. And let's just start off with the predictions on this card, man. Let's go to the first fight on the card. We got Luke Fernandez versus Rodolfo Bellato. Now, Luke Fernandez, he's been on the Dana White's Contender Series. He got an impressive win on the Dana White's Contender Series as well. And and now he's fighting Rodolfo Bellato for his debut. Now, Bellato, on the other hand, basic striker, questionable chin, questionable takedown defense as well. And, in my opinion, he's good, but he's not good at the same time. And, you got KO'd by Vitor Petrino multiple times. And, you got KO'd. He lost to Navajo Sterling in his last fight, and he lost to Paul Craig. I wouldn't say lost to Paul Craig, but he got KO'd by Paul Craig with an illegal up kick. And he got destroyed by Jimmy Crute for the first round. Was able to rebound in the second and third round and get a draw, But Luke Fernandez, man. I like Fernandez in this fight. He's a good striker. He has knockout power. He's a tricky striker as well. Rodolfo Bellato, on the other hand, easy to hit. He's a basic striker. Has a weird guard. I don't know if I really rate him that highly. And to be honest with you, I think this is going to be a Luke Fernandez KO. I think they're going to scrap. I think Luke Fernandez is going to find the shot that does drop Bellato here. I don't trust his chin that much. I think Bellato here is just on the wane end of his career. He's 30 years old. He's still young. These guys are the same age. But I feel like Bellato is kind of questionable. I don't know how good he really is yet, but he hasn't looked all that impressive. And I have to go with Luke Fernandez here. I think he's a good prospect. I like him. I rate him. He got handed a bit of a can in Dana White's Contender Series, but, apart from that, he still looked pretty good, man. And, he has a decision win over Christian Edwards. Decent prospect, regionals prospect. So I rate that highly, and I'm going to be real. Rodolfo Bellato, he went to a draw with Jimmy Crute, but that's why I don't rate his grappling as much, because I don't think he's going to have a grappling advantage here. And I just don't like the chin, man. Navajo Sterling's not a finisher. Let's just be honest. He's a point striker. Luke Fernandez will be looking for the KO here, and I think he will find it. I'm going to go with Fernandez by KO in the second round. I think the first round is going to be competitive. I think they're going to scrap. I think Bellato's going to pressure forward. I see Luke Fernandez maybe connecting with a left check hook or like a check cross or something like that, countering it off of Bellotto, catching him on the chin, and I see him rocking him heavily and being able to get the finish. So yeah, sorry about the voice crack, bro. I'm already regretting making this video because I still feel like shit. But I want to make this video because I have my picks already. Next, we got Jung Young Lee versus Gaston Bolaños, Ilya Opturo versus Jung Young Lee. I mean, I think Ilya Opturo was supposed to fight Ju Sang Yu, and that didn't happen. But now Jung Young Lee is taking this on short notice and against Gaston Bolaños. Gaston Bolaños, kickboxer, aggressive style. He's kind of like an in-your-face kind of striker guy. He'll just constantly put pressure. He's pretty crafty on the feet. Jung Young Lee, on the other hand, fast striker, decent grappling, but he has lost. And in terms of his cardio and his grappling, I would say those are weaknesses. And his fight IQ, I would say, is questionable, especially in that Hyder and Mill fight. But he had a decent fight against Daniel Santos. You know, Daniel Santos was able to get the unanimous decision here, but it was still a competitive fight. Lee had Daniel Santos in some trouble, you know, on the striking. And Gaston Bolaños, he looked really bad in his last fight. He got submitted very easily by Kwang Lei, just choked out. He got a decision win against Cortavius Romeus. You know, Romeus, I don't really rate Romeus that highly. You know, I think he's not that good at all. Marcus McGee KO'd him, but Marcus McGee is good. I will give him that. Marcus McGee is good, but I don't know. Gaston Bolaños, man, for all the hype he had when he got into the UFC, he is really underdelivered, you know. And Jung Young Lee, you know, he had a decent performance against Daniel Santos, and you know what? Daniel Santos is good. He knocked out Ju Sang Yu, man, and that's why I rate him highly in this matchup, man. I think Jung Young Lee, I think he's going to outstrike Gaston Bolaños here. I think he is going to outgrapple him as well. I see him scoring some takedowns and some control on Gaston Bolaños here. I see Lee getting a decision win. His submission is likely. I would say a submission is likely, maybe a late round submission. Gaston Bolaños' grappling is 0. I mean, holy hell, this guy, you can take him down. He just has no idea what to do on the ground. He gets easily choked out. I mean, Kwang Lee, I don't even rate that highly, but Kwang Lee destroyed him. But I'm gonna go with Jung Young Lee, and I'm honestly gonna go with submission in the third round, man. I think it's gonna happen. I think he's gonna get that submission here. But it is an entertaining fight between two very active strikers, but I rate Jung Young Lee here. Gaston Bolaños is moving up to featherweight, and I think this is a bad move. This is a bad move. Jung Young Lee has the physicality advantage. He has the reach advantage here. He's bigger, he's stronger, he's faster. I think this is a bad fight for Ilya Opturo, you know. Anyways, let's move on to the next fight. And I'm thinking like round 2, round 3 submission for Jung Young Lee. My bad. Next, we got Rafael Tobias versus Dr. Nurgazai. And it sucks because I picked Nurgazai to win his last 2 fights, but he looked fucking awful. And I don't know. I mean, Rafael Tobias, good striker, very good grappler. He has a lot of KOs, but he also has a lot of submissions as well. He was able to get a submission against De Oliveira on the Contender Series. Dr. Nurgazai, slow but heavy-handed striker. He got a KO on the Contender Series against a decent prospect, so I rate that highly. But since he's been in the UFC, he got submitted by Brendan Ribeiro, who is not good at all. Brendan Ribeiro is a victim, and somehow Nurgazai still lost to him. Uran Santabadiev, I mean, Uran is pretty good, but he got submitted easily with an Ezekiel choke as well. I mean, Dr. Nurgazai's ground game is non-existent here, and now he's going up against a dangerous grappler who's a good striker as well. He's a faster striker. He's a more powerful striker. I mean, Dior has the power and the strength advantage here, but I mean, the takedown defense, the grappling defense, it's so bad. I have to go with Rafael Tobias here, and I'm going to go with submission in the first round. I think DR just got delayed. The plan, he just got exposed heavily in that Uran Saltabadia fight. And if you take him down, you can easily submit him. And for a guy like Tobias, who's actually has good submissions, he's a good grappler. And he's a strong grappler too. I have to go with Tobias by submission in the first round. I think this is going to be a very easy fight for Tobias. Um, and I mean, DR Nurgazai, man, he's kind of like a regional. He's like a regional king. He looked really good. He was undefeated. Like, he was 10-0 when he got into the UFC. But since then, he's just looked really fucking awful. And losing to Brenton Ribeiro should just be a red flag. It should just be a red flag. You know? So, I'm going to go with Rafael Tobias, man. I think I got him here. Next, for the early prelim headliner, we got Sumadaerji versus Jesus Aguilar. Now, this is a tricky fight, man. Sumadaerji, he's obviously a long, tall, rangy counter striker. He has decent takedown defense, and he has a huge reach advantage too. I mean, 72 inches to 62.5. I mean, a 9.5 reach advantage here. And now he's going against Jesus Aguilar, who we can call the tiniest reach. He has the smallest reach in the UFC. He has 62.5 inch reach. And, this is an even fight, man. And the reason why, it's because Jesus Aguilar does have some sick submission abilities, man. And he's a powerful striker. He's able to get in, close the distance, and be able to land some mean shots here. But Sumadaerji, on the other hand, he's a very good striker. And he has good takedown defense. And he showed that in the Mitch Raposo fight, man. He showed the Rich Raposo fight that he's not very easy to hold down or even take down. And Mitch Raposo's not a bad wrestler. I mean, we got to stop putting disrespect on Mitch Raposo. He took down Azat Maksum pretty easily. Maksum's a decent prospect. And he destroyed Kevin Borjas, dominated him, outpointed him every round. And I know Borjas isn't all to scream home about, but I mean, I kind of rate Aguilar because he had some good moments he had some good moments, and he has some good wins as well. I mean, I wouldn't say good wins, but he has a win over Shannon Ross, who's kind of a scrub. Stuart Nickel, who's also kind of a scrub. And I mean, he lost to Rafael Estevam. I have to go with Sumadaerji, man. I think this is a bad matchup for Aguilar because I don't see him submitting Sumadaerji, I don't see him having the control ability. He's a good submission artist, but he is a striker mostly. And he has to be able to close the distance and be able to just, land those shots. But with a 9.5 reach disadvantage, man, I don't know. And I mean, Luis Gurule, bro, he gave him some problems in the feet. And I don't think Luis Gurule is all that, man. He's not that good. And even then, their fight was pretty close. For that knockdown in the round 3, I keep calling him Miles Jones because he looks like him. But Luis Gurule could have been winning that fight if he didn't get knocked down in round 3. I have to go to Sumadaerji here, man. I still think he's a wicked striker. He's still pretty young. He's still getting better. His takedown defense is looking better and better every fight. And I think this is a tailor-made matchup, man. I have to go Sumadaerji by decision, man. I think it's going to be a gritty fight. I think I see Aguilar maybe trying to chase some takedowns here and try to, close the distance. But I think Sumadaerji is going to be too much. His volume and his reach is going to be a big problem for Jesus Aguilar, who has a huge reach disadvantage. And, I don't think he's going to have an easy time closing in on the distance. And Sumadaerji's a good striker. So I have to go with that, man. But I wouldn't be as surprised if Aguilar gets a submission here. But I don't know, man. I mean, you look at his losses, right? Like Tim Elliott, Matt Schnell. I mean, they're good grapplers. Charles Johnson, competitive decision. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know if I would put Aguilar on the level of Tim Elliott. You know what I'm saying? Matt Schnell, he was beating the fuck out of Matt Schnell before the submission, and he has that sometimes. Sometimes he will just, win most of the fight and then get taken down. But his takedown defense has improved ever since he's been at Team Alpha Male, bro. His takedown defense has improved and he's looked good against wrestlers. And Jesus Aguilar isn't that much of a wrestler. He's a submission guy, but he is mainly a striker. I have to go Sumerderji here by decision. I think this is going to be a stand-up fight mostly, and I see Sumerderji's outpointing Jesus Aguilar to a 30-27 decision. Next, we got the prelims starting with Cody Durden versus Liam Jargal Tumen Dembarel. That was a fucking mouthful right there. And Tumen Dembarel, man, he's a decent prospect, good grappler, good striker. Cody Durden, high, heavy pace wrestler who has some boxing. You know, he will keep coming forward. He will keep trying to strike with you and then take you down. But he gets hit a lot. He is a bit chinny. And he has horrible submission defense. And I don't know, man. Cody Durden has been looking fucking awful. I mean, he's like, what? 1-5 in his last 6. He lost to Bruno Silva Tagir. He got submitted by Tagir, knocked out by Bruno Silva. He got destroyed by Van. He got KO'd by Jose Ochoa. He got submitted by Alan Nascimento. And I know he took that fight on short notice and had a good first round, but Alan Nascimento's striking isn't something to scream home about, you know? And then, I mean, what? He had a win over Match Now. I mean, Match Now's not that good. But Liam Jargal, Tumen Dembarel. I'm not going to say the fucking name. I'm just going to say Dembarel, bro. Dembarel, on the other hand, bro. He had a very close fight with Carlos Hernandez. Had some good moments in there. And I know it's Carlos Hernandez, but still, I mean, I think I rate him. I still rate him, man. He's the younger guy. And Cody Durden just seems on the back end of his career here. I don't know if I could trust in Cody Durden to win this fight. Dembarel has some good submission ability. He has some good striking, too. But I think I see a submission here. Cody Durden, he's going to keep walking forward. He's going to try to shoot takedowns. And I see Tumen Dembarel being able to capitalize maybe on a front choke here. I honestly see a Darce coming. I see a Darce coming for Tumen Dembarel here. I see a Darce coming in round 1, round 2. I'm leaning slightly towards round 2. But I see a round 2 Darce choke coming for Dembarel, bro. Like, I don't know. I don't trust Cody Durden's defense on the ground, man. He's a good wrestler, but his submission ability and his submission defense is horrible. You know? And Dembarel has some good chokes, especially from the front. So I have to go with Dembarel here by submission in round 2. I think Cody Durden's going to have trouble being able to defend some of those submissions. And I think on the feet, I think Dembarel's going to have an advantage too. Cody Durden's pretty easy to hit. And Dembarel has some slick striking. So I'm going to have to go with Dembarel here. He's the younger guy, greener prospect. He had a bit of an iffy loss, but it was a close fight anyways, and he had a lot of good moments. And I think he's still growing, and he looked good in his last fight too. So, yeah, I see an Anaconda or Darce choke coming for Dembarel here. Submission round 2. I think it's a good pick. Well, let's move on to the next one. We got Alberto Montez versus Ricky Tercios. You know, Ilya Top Toro now. You know, we had Ilya Optoro fighting Jong-Un Lee, but now we got Ilya Top Toro. You know what I'm saying? I know the Ilya genre of fighters here. You know, I think this is teasing the fact Ilya versus Gaethje is going to be the main event for White House. But yeah, I mean, Alberto Montez, man, he's a good grappler, very good prospect. He's been dominating the regional scene. I mean, he got KO'd by this one dude. I think it was like some Polish dude, like Lukowski or something. And I mean, he's still on a 3-fight win streak. That was his only loss, 10-1 on the regional scene. He's been looking dominant. He's been grappling everybody. He's been submitting everybody. And that's what I like about Montez here, man. He's a good grappler, and he has some decent hands. And you know what? Like, I have to go and say this about Ricky Tercios, man. I don't want to pick Ricky Tercios to win a fight. I just don't want to pick him to win a fight. He's going up to featherweight from bantamweight, and I don't know how I feel about that. I think that's a bad thing. I don't know how Ricky Tercios is going to fare well in the featherweight division against a good grappler like Ilya Top Toro. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, he got submitted by Raul Rosas Jr. He had some good moments. He was able to reverse some takedowns. And I'm going to say about Raul Rosas Jr. later, but I don't think that's a good sign. You know what I'm saying? losing to submission that way. And I mean, you look at his wins. Brady Heaston, not even in the UFC, and still split decision. Kevin Natividad, not even in the UFC, split decision, and he lost to Amin Zahabi, you know. And Bernardo Sapai, you know. He's a high, heavy pace striker. He has heart, but he's not skilled anywhere. And I mean, against a guy like Alberto Montez, who's able to lock up a lot of chokes, he's on a 3-fight finish streak. He's a very dangerous finisher. He looks really impressive. He's a green prospect, you know. I have to go with Ilya Toptoro here by submission, and I think he's gonna get a submission in the first round here. I see Ricky Turcio pressing forward, but I see Alberto Montez taking this fight to the ground. And on the ground, I have to go with Montez, bro. I think he's gonna easily submit Ricky Turcios here. I don't want to pick him to win a fight. If Ricky Turcios wins this fight, then that'd be impressive. But I don't see it. You know, people like to talk about Turcios. He's a dangerous guy. He has heart. But I don't want to pick him to win a fight because he's not skilled anywhere. He has heart. He has pressure, but that's it. It's like Marab, but you remove everything good about him and you just give him only cardio. That's Ricky Turcios. He's a victim. I have to go with submission for the Montez side. Ilya Toptoro. I feel like both Ilya genres will be winning this in this card. Anyways, let's move on to the next fight. We got Dante Johnson taking on short notice replacement Cody Brundage. Now, let's just start by saying this. Whoever Cody Brundage's manager is, I'm going to say this as advice for Cody. Fire that guy. Fire that guy. Fire your manager. Because this is a fucking horrible fight. Now, Dante Johnson, clear size disadvantage here. He's a small middleweight. He's 5'8", and he's a big dude, but he is a 5'8" dude. And now he's going to get 6 foot Cody Brundage. I don't know if he's 6 foot. I would say he's like 5'10", 5'11". But he's a heavy favorite for the reason, man. He's looked really good. And, you know, he had a very weird fight with Cedric Dumas, but he was still able to get the guillotine submission. You know, and he went and he fought on the Contender Series against a heavyweight, and he KO'd him in the first round. And that's a good sign, because he's really good. Cody Brundage, on the other hand, man, he has probably one of the flukiest records of all time, bro. Like, in his last, like, seven fights, he's had 4 losses and a no contest. Or was it it was like a no contest, and then another no contest. Or no, it was a draw, and then he had the win against Julian Marquez, but that was it. And he's looked pretty bad. He is explosive. He is surprisingly good sometimes, but he has a horrible fight IQ, and he will just fumble fights, and he's kind of a blockhead, and he's also pretty chinny. I have to go with Dante Johnson here, and I'm probably going to go with Dante Johnson by KO in the first round here. I think he's going to come in. He's going to land some hit bombs. I think bombs. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, bro. It's the fucking voice chords, bro. But I think Dante Johnson here is going to get a KO in the first round. This is an easy fight, man. Like, Cody Brundage, bro. Like, what are you doing? This is going to be his last fight. I think the UFC are going to cut him after this. You know, this is a bad fight. Dante Johnson's dangerous. And Cody Brundage is taking this on short notice, and I don't like that. I really don't like that. So I have to go with Dante Johnson, man. And I'm going to go with Dante Johnson by KO in the first round. I think this is going to be an easy performance of the night, rewarding finish right here. Easily. Next, we got the prelim headliner, Cody Garbrandt versus Long Zhao. What can I say, bro? I mean, this is a pattern that we and a lot of people notice. But whenever Cody Garbrandt goes on a losing streak and he's looking bad against good competition, he will just get handed a can. And Long Zhao is a can. He's not good. He didn't even win on. What? He was on road to UFC, and his only win in the UFC is Quang Lee, who's not that good, and then he lost to Chang Ko Lee and Su Young Yu. He's not that skilled, but he has the ability to scrap with people. He's tough. He's got a good chin. Cody Garbrandt, on the other hand, fast counter striker, good hands, very good defense, but he has a horrible chin. But I don't see that being a problem here. I don't think Xiao Long is going to KO Cody Garbrandt, Because Cody Garbrandt, although he has been KO'd a lot, it's against guys like TJ Dillashaw and Pedro Munoz and Kai Kara France. And let's be for real, the Pedro Munoz KO, man, Cody Garbrandt was just being a retard. TJ Dillashaw is obviously probably the third best bantamweight of all time. Let's just be for real, third or fourth best bantamweight of all time. And he's really good. And then what? Kai Kara France? Kai Kara France, he's going down to 125 where he's drained. And Kai Kara France hits like a truck. And he's a very technical striker. Xiao Long is not as good as Kai Kara France. He's not as good as Pedro Munoz. He's not even in the bottom barrel of the UFC. He's like below the bottom of the barrel. He's not that good. And he's just a guy who presses forward, he scraps, he makes banger fights, but he's not that skilled. And I think Cody Garbrandt is just going to cruise to a nice decision win here. I think it'll be a fun fight. I think both guys will have moments. I think Cody Garbrandt is going to be doing his usual emoting. He'll do like the little running man. He'll do like the sweep of the shoulder. He'll show some head movement. Xiao Long's going to look really bad on the feet, trying to swing these punches and try to land elbows. And Cody Garbrandt, he's just going to just head movement his way out of it and just like show off on the feet, like how he did against Trevin Jones. I think he's going to do that. And I mean, here's the thing. It's just how it is. They're just giving Cody Garbrandt a can to win against. If Cody Garbrandt loses to this guy, he needs to retire, and that would be really fucking bad. But I don't think he's going to lose to him, because I don't think Cody Garbrandt's that bad. He has lost a lot of fights. And to be honest with you, that Rowdy Barcelos performance was bad. But you know what? Rowdy Barcelos is a decent prospect, guys. He's decent. Stop putting hate on my boy Rowdy. He's about to fight for the rankings. Rowdy's good, and he destroyed Payton Talbot. Cody Garbrandt had a closer fight with Barcelos than Payton Talbot. I mean, Payton Talbot got 30-26 by Barcelos, bro. So, we got to stop putting disrespect on the boy, bro. Just because he got KO'd by Umar, lost to Kyler Phillips. I mean, for a guy his age, he is pretty good. So, Cody Garbrandt going to a 29-28 decision, not bad. And he looked pretty good in the first round. And I think Xiao Long is not on Barcelos' level. So, I have to go Cody Garbrandt by decision. I don't see him knocking him out. I think Xiao Long has a good chin. And he's tough. And he's a scrapper, and Cody Garbrandt is going to have some moments where he is in trouble, and Xiao Long just puts the pressure. But I think Cody Garbrandt is going to style on him and show levels and show the striking advantage that he has in terms of skill. So I think Cody Garbrandt is just going to put on his usual masterclass performance against some can, like he did against Trevin Jones and Rafael Assunção. Oh, this talking, man. I'm getting my fucking throat. Next, for the main card opener, we got Gregory Rodriguez versus Bruno Ferreira. Now, this is a rematch. And if you don't know what happened in their last fight, right? This happened 3 years ago almost. No, actually, no, 3 years ago. UFC 283. Gregory Rodriguez was supposed to fight Brad Tavares for a ranking. Brad Tavares was in the top 15 at the time. Tavares pulls out, and Bruno Ferreira steps in on a week notice, right? And a lot of people didn't know about Bruno Ferreira, man. A lot of people thought Gregory Rodriguez was just going to steamroll Bruno Ferreira here. But then fight day comes, the fight comes. Gregory Rodriguez, they both scrap it out. They have some moments. Rodriguez looks like he's on his way to getting a KO. And then boom, Ferreira just leaps in with a cross, just sleeps. Like a sweeping cross, just sleeps Rodriguez out cold. Bruno Ferreira is a fucking star. Now, 3 years later, you look at their records now. I mean, Bruno Ferreira, he's lost to Ruzaboyev, and he got submitted by Abus Magomedov. And he's on a 3-fight win streak against Armen Petrosian by submission, submitted Jackson McVeigh, and then he beat Martin Vettori in a very competitive fight. Then you look at Gregory Rodriguez, right? Since that fight, he's beat Brad Tavares, he's beat other guys, he's beat he's beat Christian Leroy Duncan, which is a very impressive win. Then he lost to Jared Cannonier when he got his shot in the rankings. But he had a very good first and second round. Dropped Cannonier twice, almost finished him. He looked like he was on his way to finish Cannonier there, but then Cannonier, knowing how tough he is and the craftiness he has, he was able to scrounge it out, come back, and get the KO in the 4th round. Then he comes back, fights Jack Hermanson, and KOs him cold in the 1st round. Sleeps him. Then he just destroys Roman Kopylov and dominates him on the feet. I mean, he's looked really impressive, man. He's gotten some good wins. And Bruno Ferreira, on the other hand, you know, he had the KO over Dustin Stoltzfus, but he hasn't really shown, these wins against good competition, right? His best win is definitely Marvin Vettori. And even then, that was a competitive fight, and it was a really shit version of Marvin Vettori. Let's be for real, Marvin Vettori is done. And he still gave Bruno Ferreira a tough time. And round 3 looked like he was on his way to make it really tough for him. Bruno Ferreira was able to win 30-27, 29-28. I don't remember the scorecards, but it was a 29-28 for me. But it was a very close competitive fight. And you look at the trajectories, Gregory Rodriguez has improved a fuck ton. And Bruno Ferreira has improved too, but he hasn't shown it against the best competition. And Gregory Rodriguez, I think if he goes out there and is carefully striking at range, using the improvements he's made, and maybe even mixing it up a little with the grappling, I see Gregory Rodriguez maybe getting a late round KO here. Like, I kind of see it, man. Bruno Ferreira, man, he has trouble with cardio. And Gregory Rodriguez did gas against Cannonier, but, I mean, he hasn't shown that much of a problem with cardio against Christian Leroy Duncan or Roman Kopylov. And you know what? Christian Leroy Duncan is really good, and he's getting his shot at the rankings against Elite. And let's be for real, man. He beat the living fuck out of CLD. And that's impressive. That CLD win is very fucking good. And then you look at Roman Kopylov and Hermanson, sleeping Hermanson like that is crazy, especially when he's coming off a very impressive win against Joe Pyfer, who is also pretty good. Gregory Rodriguez, man, he has really improved a ton since that Bruno Ferreira loss. He's really honed in on his striking. He's really well rounded out his game effectively. He's become less of like a timid, careless striker who will get chinned, and more of a guy who's able to carefully strike with the best strikers that he could face, and still be able to land some good shots and knock out people, right? And Bruno Ferreira, man, I don't know. He's a bit 50-50. I don't know if I can choose Bruno Ferreira to win this rematch here, apart from maybe he gets a KO again. But I think Gregory Rodriguez will be careful. I don't think he's going to just, walk in there recklessly trying to knock out Bruno Ferreira, be overconfident. He was overconfident in their fight because he thought Bruno Ferreira was this easy fight for him. It was a short notice replacement. He had a lot of hype. Nobody really knew much about Bruno Ferreira, and then he came out there and surprised everyone. But now he knows who he's going against. He's improved. He's really rounded out his game. Not only has he improved his striking a lot, he's improved his grappling too. I mean, Bruno Ferreira, man, he's also improved, but he has lost to some questionable opponents. And, I don't know, getting submitted by Abus and getting outworked by Abus is a bad look. Against a guy like Gregory Rodriguez, who is a guy who has rounded out his cardio very well. This is a 3-round fight, and he's a good striker. He has heavy pressure. He's a very good grappler as well. He's very hard to take down, too. I don't see Bruno Ferreira taking down Rodriguez here. And I don't really see him being able to find that KO, So I think I'm going to go with Gregory Rodriguez, and I'm probably going to go with Gregory Rodriguez by like round 3 KO. I think you will find that shot that connects, and I think he will be able to KO Bruno Ferreira. He's had some trouble against some guys in the 3rd round. Like Abus got submitted in the 3rd round. Vettori was able to overwhelm him and be able to stack up some volume, and it looked like Bruno Ferreira was in trouble. And I feel like Gregory Rodriguez, he's a dangerous guy, and he's a good striker. He has a lot of power. He's massive in the division. So I'm going to go with Obama, bro. And that CLD win is aging insanely well. And I think CLD is going to be in the top 11 soon, man. I think he's going to beat Elite. So, yeah, I got Gregory Rodriguez here by round 3 KO. Next, we got Drew Dober, Crimson Chin, the body, the real true ice agent, the real true, what am I going to say? The most racist UFC fighter against Michael Johnson. And this is a tricky fight. I was actually I was struggling to pick this fight, and it was only for one reason, and one reason only. And it's because Drew Dober is literally went on a huge streak where he was only KOing guys with like melanin, and he was like KOing brown or black guys, and he was losing to white guys. And you know what? I get why you would choose Drew Dober in this fight. I get it. But Michael Johnson is good, and he's a good striker. He's a very fast boxer. He destroyed Daniel Zellhuber, dropped him, utterly outclassed him. KO'd Ataman Azaitar, another fight he was an underdog against. Destroyed Darius Flowers. Drew Dober, on the other hand, he is up there in age. He's younger than Michael Johnson, but I feel like he's taking a lot more damage than Johnson. I feel like his chin's not the same, and I don't know, man. I don't know if I can trust it. Michael Johnson has a questionable chin as well. He has lost to some very bad competition, and it's like a running joke with him. Like, he loses the bad opponents, but he will just beat like Dustin Poirier and Tony Ferguson and destroy Daniel Zellhuber as a plus 500 underdog. Michael Johnson's a crafty dude, and he's a very good striker. He has very good boxing. He has sneakily good power as well. Like, he will make it really tough. And Drew Dober's chin, I don't know if I can trust him, man. He's taking a lot of damage. He got slept by Manuel Torres. He took a beating of a lifetime against Gene Silva. He got outstruck by Renato Moicano. And I mean, he also got beat by Matt Favola as well. I mean, I don't know. He was on a massive losing streak. He was getting hurt bad from Kyle Prepolek, who I don't really rate that highly. But then he was able to like get the KO in the third round after the nut shot. But I like Michael Johnson in this fight. He has the reach advantage. He's a taller guy. He's the faster striker. He's the more powerful striker, in my opinion. I don't trust the chin, but you know what? I will trust the chin in this fight because Michael Johnson is the type of guy to win fights like this. He is the type of guy to just he will just win fights like these. He will win against the guys you don't expect him to win against, and that's why I gotta go with Michael Johnson here by KO, bro. I think in my opinion, Michael Johnson here, he's a better striker. He's a faster striker. Drew Dober's chin, I don't know if I can trust it. I don't know if I can trust that chin now. And that's the thing. Like, Michael Johnson, man, he's a very tricky guy. I have to go with Michael Johnson. And you know what? I'm gonna go with Michael Johnson by KO in the second round. I think he KOs Drew Dober. Drew Dober's a tough dude, but I think he KOs him. I think the speed will be too much, and I see him kind of getting with I think they're gonna get into a scrap and they're gonna brawl, and I think Michael Johnson is gonna come out on top and knock down Drew Dober and get the finish. So, yeah, that's my prediction for this. Next, we got the featured bout. We got Rob Font taking on Raul Rosas Jr. And UFC website, please load. $1 billion what company, by the way. But, man, this is a good fight. But there's a thing about this, right? Rob Font didn't look that good in his last two fights. But at the same time, I don't want to count him out. Because I was going to count him out. I was going to lean on Raul Rosas Jr. because he is a good grappler. And I thought he would be able to do it. But I don't know. The last two fights looked very dicey. And he looked very dicey against really bad comp. I mean, Oracle Lang and Vince Morales. Vince Morales is not even in the UFC. And now he's going against Rob Font, who is a perennial top contender. He's beat some very good prospects. I mean, Gene Matsumoto's a very good win. So is Kyler Phillips and Adrian Yanez and all these other guys, And and he's gone up there. He's fought the best of the best. He has a ton of experience, and he lost to David Martinez in his last one, but it was a short notice replacement. But he's had what? He's had 3 training camps for Wild Roses Jr. now. He knows he's going. He knows what Roses Jr. is going to do. He's going to grapple. He's going to shoot for the doubles and try to get the controlled time and go for a submission. But Wild Roses Jr. is not proven enough. He's not proven enough. He had a very competitive decision with Oric Lang. He had a very competitive decision with Vince Morales where he almost got submitted. And Rob Font, right, he lost to David Martinez, but that win is aging well. G Matsumoto, I mean, it was a weak notice replacement. Kyler Phillips, good win. And then what? He lost to Corey Sandhagen and Davison Figueiredo, who are in the top six. Is Raul Rosas Jr. as good as a guy like David Martinez and Davis Figueiredo? No, he's not. Simple as that. He's just not. And in all the times they were matched, I always picked Ralph Font, and this was the first time I was really considering not taking Font. But I'm not. I'm fading Raul Rosas Jr., man. I'm going to a Rob Font. I trust in experience. And you know what? Rob Font's takedown defense and his grappling defense isn't bad. He gets taken down, but he's gotten taken down by the best guys, Corey Sandhagen's a decent grappler. Davis Figueiredo is a good grappler. Jose Aldo has good grappling as well, and he has good grappling defense. And Rob Font was able to get up pretty quickly. Rob Wilson Jr., man, close decision with Eric Lang, close decision with Vince Morales. He lost to C-Rod, and, C-Rod is good, but I don't know. He's beat bottom of the barrel competition. He had a dicey moment against Ricky Tercios. Ricky Tercios was able to get the back and get up and reverse position. I don't know if I can trust him Rob Font here. I think Font is going to beat Raul Rosas Jr. And you know what? A KO isn't bad, but I think Rob Font is just going to masterclass Raul Rosas Jr. I think it's going to be a dominant 30-27 decision. Raul Rosas Jr., he's Mexican. He got that chin. I'll trust in that chin. But this is a huge step up in comp. And Raul Rosas Jr. needs to be tested against guys like Matsumoto and Basharai and Jourdain, these unranked dudes that are closer to rankings. He's never had a test like that. Now he's being thrown into a guy against the Rob Font who's really good, who's beaten these other guys who are better than Raul Rosas Jr. I feel like Shin Matsumoto and Kyler Phillips would beat Raul Rosas Jr. And he beat both those guys. Gene Matsumoto's a stronger grappler. He's a more dangerous grappler. And even then, Rob Font still was able to beat him. Raul Rosas Jr., man, I like him. He's a decent prospect, but he needs more time. He's 21 years old. I think he's getting rushed up here because he is young, and he has that hype because he's one of the youngest fighters in the UFC, like how Max Holloway was. Unlike Max Holloway, Raul Rosas Jr. hasn't fought that competition yet. He hasn't had that Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier loss. His only loss was to C-Rod. And C-Rod isn't all that. So I have to go with Rob Font. I'm going to go with Rob Font by decision. I think it'll be a 30-27 decision. I think he defends takedowns. I think he's going to outstrike Raul Rosas Jr. I see some moments where he drops Rosas Jr. in the late rounds, and he's in trouble. But I think Rob Font's going to dominate him. And there was a moment where I was picking Raul Rosas Jr. But I ain't backing down, bro. I think the Font masterclass is there. I said this last time. I picked Font against Martinez, and I got proven wrong. But Raul Rosas Jr. ain't Martinez, man. Martinez is good. Raul Rosas Jr., man, he's still untested. So I'm going to go with Rob Font here by decision. Next, we got the co-main. Kyle Barhallo versus Reinier de Ridder. This is a very good fight. This is actually a very competitive fight and a good matchup. Both these guys are coming off huge losses. Kyle Barhallo, he lost to Nasruddin Imavov. And then Reinier de Ridder got destroyed by Brendan Allen. Now, Reinier de Ridder, man, is a weird enigma because he is good, but he's also bad. He has a lot of good attributes that make him dangerous, and he's a very good grappler, and he has some really good body knees, and he's very big for the weight division, but his striking is very bad. His striking defense is worse, and he has a gas tank issue. And people like to go out with a Brendan Allen fight, but he's had these problems before against GM3, where GM3 was almost close to finishing René de Ritter, almost dropped him, was piecing him up in round 2 and round 1. In round 1, you can even say like he was down 2 rounds to GM3, although he did drop GM3 in the end of round 1. And he got a submission in round 3, but still, like GM3 was giving him problems. And then, Kevin Holland, I think Kevin Holland's done. I think Kevin Holland's given up and he doesn't really try. And I think he's not really like that anymore. Then Bo Nickel. Can I say anything else? It's Bo Nickel, bro. Bo Nickel's not good. He's not even that high of a grappler. But then you got Robert Whittaker, split decision, where Robert Whittaker was doing really well against René de Ritter on the feet. And it was a close fight. And I didn't think it would be that close, considering RDR's hype. But it was very close. And although he was still able to win and get the decision, and Brendan Allen, man, he got heavily out-grappled by Brendan Allen, taken down easily. And it seemed like he had a gas tank issue. And maybe that was due to the fact that he was fighting 4 times in 1 year. But people like to say, he fought 4 times in 1 year, man. And, he's going to be better. But it's only been 4 months since he's fought. You don't fix these issues in 4 months. You don't fix an underlying huge issue with your whole body in 4 months. I feel like René de Ritter is still going to have a tough weight cut here. I don't see René de Ritter making the necessary improvements in his gas tank, and not only that, in his striking and his grappling. At the age he is, he's 35 years old. Now, Kyle Barajo, on the other hand, he's 33. He's not that much younger, but he has tested himself against good competition. He's fought Masvidal Malvov, and he had a competitive fight. You could arguably say that he lost 48-47. It was not a dominant showcase. Malvov is good. And Malvov's a very good striker, and he's very well-rounded, and that's why Kyle Barajo was not able to get the grappling going. But Kyle Barajo is a guy who is very well-rounded. He's a good striker. He's a good grappler. And you know what? People are saying he's not great. I keep saying that he's good, everybody. He's not great. But Brendan Allen isn't great anywhere. He's well-rounded, but he's not great. But he still destroyed René de Ritter. And people like to say, but he was fighting 4 times a year, but he had a full camp. And Brendan Allen took it in a short notice. So it makes him look even worse. And I don't know, man. Kyle Barajo is the better grappler, and I think he's a better striker, too. I think Kyle Barajo is going to win this fight. And I don't see RDR making the necessary changes to be able to beat a guy like Kyle. Kyle is a guy who could potentially be a top 5 perennial contender. Maybe he probably won't be fighting for a title for a while, but he is good. He is very good, and he's proven that he's very good. And I think he has a lot of potential. And he's going to keep coming back here knowing he's fought an elite opponent. And he's going to be massively prepared. And let's be for real, in Masvidal Malvov, he had 2 weight cuts in 3 weeks. That definitely affected his performance. And it was still a competitive fight. René de Ritter, it definitely affected his performance, but I don't know, man. I think René de Ritter, if this fight was later in this year, like November or something, like October, November, I probably would be a bit more dicey on this fight, but I don't know if René de Ritter has made the necessary adjustments he needs to make in his gas tank in just 4 months. It's still a relatively quick turnaround for how he looked bad in that last fight. 4-month turnaround, that's a lot quicker than most fighters. And apparently that's a long time for René de Ritter. I don't know, man. René de Ritter is getting older. It's clear that middleweight is a very draining division. He's too big for middleweight, and he cuts a shit ton of weight. He cuts 40 pounds, probably. And maybe I think he will have a lot more success in light heavyweight. And I want to see him make that move to light heavyweight, because I think he has a lot of potential. But maybe a loss to Kyle Barajo will motivate him to go up there. But I think Kyle Barajo is going to put on a clinic here. I think he's going to outstrike René de Ritter. I think he's going to even out-grapple René de Ritter. I could see him getting a takedown. I could see him taking down René de Ritter in the later rounds. But I think it's gonna be it's gonna be a scrap. I think Renato Ritter's gonna come in there. He's gonna pressure forward. But I see Kyle Barajo stinging him with the 1-2s and kind of darting around the octagon with the karate style, and it's gonna make it hard for Renato Ritter to be able to gain some momentum. Robert Whitaker was going laps around him on the feet, and Robert Whitaker was gassing. But I don't see that problem with Kyle Barajo in a 3-rounder. If it was a 3-rounder, if Robert Whitaker versus RDR was a 3-rounder, I think Rob would have won that fight. And it was clear that the only reason why he lost was because his gas tank failed him. Kyle Barajo won't have that problem. I see Kyle coming back. I think he'll get a vintage win here. I think he'll look really good against RDR. And it's going to be an impressive win, too. And I think it's going to shoot Kyle's stock back up. And I could see him fighting for another top 5 guy. Maybe he fights a Brendan Allen. I'd love to see Brendan Allen versus Kyle if he wins this fight. But I'm going to go with Kyle Barajo. I see him getting a decision win here. And I don't see a KO. Kyle Barajo is not really much of a KO guy. He couldn't really KO Parman Petrosian or Abus Magomedov. But I see him surgically outstriking Renato Ritter, outgrappling him. And I think it'll be a good fight, but I don't know if RDR has made the proper adjustments or had the time to make the proper adjustments to be able to win this fight. That's as simple as it is. It's as simple as it is, And I think Kyle Barajo is the better grappler than Brendan Allen. I'm just going to say it there. I think he's a better grappler than Brendan Allen. Next, for the main event, we got Max Holloway defending the BMF belt against Charles Do Bronx Oliveira. Now, this is a hell of a good fight, and this is a good fight for a reason. This is a very close matchup, and I think this is a very tricky matchup because a lot of people are 50-50 on this. People are going Charles, people are going Holloway. I haven't seen anyone really unanimously say, like, oh shit, Holloway's going to win this. But the more and more I watch this fight, and the more I watch their tapes, and the more I see their styles, I think Holloway is a very bad matchup for Oliveira. And the reason why I say this is, you look at the Chandler fight, right? Oliveira couldn't finish Chandler for 5 rounds, and that's a big problem because although Oliveira has the control and he has the ability to wrestle, he's not good. I mean, I don't know how to say this. He couldn't submit Chandler. Let's be for real. And if Dustin Poirier could submit Chandler, I don't know, man. It's not a good look. And he had the submission win against Gamrot, and I'm going to say this right now. Gamrot is a non-threat on the feet and the ground, and Gamrot was inviting the grappling. And that's why I think Charles Oliveira was able to scramble. Gamrot isn't really known for his really good BJJ, and we saw that in the Dariush fight. But Max Holloway, on the other hand, he has very good anti-grappling, very good anti-wrestling. His takedown defense is very good. And, every time I see a guy like a Volk or an Ilya try to take him down, even when they take him down, he gets back up instantly. And you know what? I'm going to say it right here. I kind of think Volk's and Ilya's wrestling is better than Charles Oliveira's. I don't think Charles Oliveira's BJJ is going to be the reason why he takes him to the ground. It's going to be the wrestling. And Charles Oliveira has good wrestling, but he relies a lot on body locks and, against the cage takedowns. And one thing about Max Holloway is that he never lets himself back up against the cage. He has very good footwork. He circles around very heavily. He's a very hard guy to track down. And it's up to guys like Volk and Ilya to be able to track down. And even then, Volk needed 2 fights to be able to figure out Holloway. And Ilya took 2 rounds to be able to find that momentum and KO Holloway, Because Holloway was doing really well against Ilya. And Charles Oliveira, on the other hand, man, he has decent striking, he has good power, but he's very easy to hit. He has no head movement. He's very stationary, and he kind of just walks forward, but he is very predictable. And this is and on the feet, I think Max Holloway's volume and pressure, and the fact is that he now has a bit of a power advantage here. It's going to be bad if Charles Oliveira stays on the feet here, because I think Max Holloway will piece the fuck out of Charles Oliveira. I think Max Holloway has a good game plan for this fight. And I'm going to say it. And it's going to be similar to the Ilya game plan. Circle, keep distance, footwork. I think that's the key. Because that's what Ilya did with that's what Ilya struggled with Max Holloway was the footwork. It was the slick boxing. It was the head movement. Max Holloway was constantly keeping himself off their center line. He was constantly circling around, using good footwork, mixing it up with the kicks. And Ilya had a lot of struggling to be able to find that like shot, right? And Charles Oliveira, man, he just stood in front of Ilya, exchanged with him in the pocket, and then got slept. And I don't like when people are saying Charles is going to fight smart this time. Because I've been watching Charles, and I'm a huge fan of Charles, and I've been watching his fights. But let's be for real, guys. When has Charles Oliveira fought smart? This guy loves to bang. He loves to exchange. He loves to be chaotic. That's what his style thrives on. It's chaos. It's unpredictability. We've seen this in every single fight. He always gets dropped. Or he always gets taken down in reverse. He always makes some dumb mistake that costs him the fight. We've seen this tons of times. And against a guy like Max Holloway, you can't be making mistakes like that. Now, people are saying, oh, Max doesn't have the power of Ilya, but I don't think he does need it. Because I think he does have good power. He KO'd Justin Gaethje cold. He dropped Dustin Poirier and wobbled him and rocked him bad. And I mean, doing that to Dustin Poirier is impressive because this was the same guy who gave Islam Makhachev a run for his money. And Max Holloway just effortlessly schooled him on the feet. Now, Charles Oliveira, man, and it's another thing too. I feel like Max Holloway at 155, at his age, he's in his prime. He's getting better still, and he's going to be a lot more accustomed to this weight class. But Charles Oliveira, on the other hand, he's exiting his prime. He's taking a lot of damage, and I don't even think he won't even have that physicality advantage. Max Holloway is bigger. Although Charles Oliveira is strong, Max Holloway is 5'11". He's clearly built a lot of muscle and strength. And he has a new 155 like frame, which is a lot bigger. And just because he was a former featherweight doesn't mean he ain't big, bro. He looked big against Dustin Poirier. And, Gamrot on the other hand, Gamrot's 5'8". He is a short guy. Now, Charles Oliveira, man, I can't count him out because Charles Oliveira has a submission threat. And Max Holloway hasn't really dealt with, dangerous submission threats like that since Ortega. And Volk and Ilya, Ilya is a good submission threat, and he's a good grappler as well. And even then, Max Holloway was able to get up, but Volk isn't, a submission threat, right? This is going to be Max Holloway's most dangerous grappler. And that's why, I kind of do see there's some concerns. But you know what? I think Max Holloway is going to approach this smartly. I think he's going to take a low-volume, counter-strike effective approach where footwork, circle around the cage, constantly making Charles Oliveira have to readjust and never find the time to be able to shoot a takedown. And I think he's going to force Charles Oliveira to strike with him. Because although Ilya was able to get takedowns on Max Holloway, he got up instantly. Volk was able to get takedowns, got up instantly. He's a hard guy to take down. He's a harder guy to control, and he's a harder guy to submit. He hasn't been submitted since his first fucking fight in the UFC 15, 16 years ago. And now, Charles Oliveira, I have to say, his wrestling isn't all that, He has good wrestling. He can take down some people. But, I don't know, man. I don't see him doing that to Max Holloway that easily. Max Holloway's really good, and it's a lighter man skill, too, It is really the lighter man skill. I have to go with Max Holloway here. And you know what? I'm going with KO in the second round. I think Max Holloway is going to do well defending the grappling. I think Charles Oliveira is going to strike on the feet and try to prove a point and, be the BMF. And then I see Max Holloway dropping Charles Oliveira in the second round. I think I see him rocking him really bad and dropping him. And I see him getting the finish. Charles Oliveira is a tough dude to finish, but Max Holloway is a dangerous guy. And I see this being like a Dustin Poirier thing because he almost got Dustin Poirier out of there twice. And Dustin Poirier is a tough dude to finish. Only the best have finished him. And he's an even tougher dude to KO. Max Holloway almost KO'd him twice. And Charles Oliveira doesn't have the chin of Poirier. He doesn't have the grit of Poirier, you know? He's taking a lot of damage. And now he's going up against a prime Max Holloway at 155, who's stronger, faster, more powerful, and knows he's going and is probably going to be training a lot of grappling defense in this fight. It's a bad fight, man. I think Max Holloway is a bad matchup for Charles Oliveira, and I see an early finish. I don't see this being a very competitive fight. I think on the feet, Max Holloway is going to show levels. And I see Holloway KOing Charles Oliveira round 2, and I see him calling out Ilya for that BMF 155 title fight, you know. And maybe he gets the title shot. Who knows? You know, who knows how much I hate Arman. But yeah, I have Max Holloway winning this by KO in the second round. But that's it for my predictions. Want to recap my predictions right here. Going Luke Fernandez KO round 2, Lee submission round 3, Rafael Tobias round 1 submission, Sumer Derji decision, Cody Tumen Dembro submission round 2, Montez submission round 1, Dante Johnson KO round 1, Cody Garbrandt decision, Gregory Rodriguez submission KO round 3, not Drew Dober, Michael Johnson KO round 2, Rob Font decision, Kaio decision, and Max Holloway round 2 KO. Anyways, that's it for UFC 326 full card picks. Make sure to tune in for the live watch companion I'm going to have on Saturday. I'm going to be hosting with some people, so make sure to follow my Instagram and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Leave a like, leave a comment, and more content is going to be headed your way. Anyways, see you in the next one.